Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
Rocket 102.5.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. A high wind watch and fire weather watch begin at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Partly cloudy today with a high of 83. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 51. Daytime highs approaching 84 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Wednesday with highs around 50. 61 Thursday. Looking further out, 70 Friday, 68 Saturday, and 62 on Sunday. Another look at the short range. Highs reach 83 today. We should dip down to around 51 tonight. High of 84 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently, it's 48 degrees.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with last chance Halloween deals. Looks like Mom's got the old pumpkin bucket stocked with the best candy, starting at $5.99.
Lucky pumpkin bucket. Oh, there's Dad party planning with a same-day delivery order.
Yes, it's a BOGO 50% off pizza party with Target Circle. Plus, buy 3, save 40% on soda 12 packs with Target Circle.
Nice saves, Dad.
Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Need it last minute? Get same-day delivery with Target Circle 360. Restrictions apply.
Wouldn't you like to stop feeling self-conscious about your receding hairline or thinning hair? Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow from New Nordic as an effective way to get thicker-looking hair. Ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens or shop online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for the power, performance, and reliability of a new Super Start battery. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The one hail of a sale continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get huge savings on not just lightly hailed on vehicles, but also ones that don't have hail or have had the hail fixed. How about a 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 SLE with hail up to $13,000 off when trading in an eligible vehicle, now only $49,000. A 24 Chevy Tahoe RST with hail up to $14,000 off, now just $58,000. It's one hail of a sale, and it continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafes, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
If you take electric or natural gas service from Midwest Energy, you're a co-op member. Midwest Energy is holding its annual meeting of members on Monday, October 21st, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Hayes. Join us for a short meeting and maybe win one of several great door prizes. Again, that's the Midwest Energy annual meeting, Monday, October 21st, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Hayes. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game.
The region's only local sports talk.
Dynamite drop-in at broadcast school has really paid off.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Touchdown, the Cowboys!
To the pros.
And Tendy back on the track. It's out of here! Bobby Witt Jr. delivers a go-ahead grand slam!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. From the 28, a clap of the hands for Thorson. Back to throw. Heaving it down the seam. There's Cure. Lincoln makes the catch. He's into the end zone. It's a touchdown. What a dime from Zach Thorson.
Swing and a drive. Right field. On its way. Gone. Ball game. A walk-off grand slam. Freddie Freeman.
There's the snap. Here's the kick for Chris Tennant. This one has a chance. It is good! He got it! 51 yards from Tennant, and he made it pretty handily.
Trailing 10-7, Mahomes races the right leg.
Pass caught, intercept. Touchdown! Kansas City on a quick slant. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce for the 52nd time.
And good Monday morning, everybody. We are back here on the Morning Blitz. As always, broadcasting Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and simulcasting on AM 730 Gold, KLOE. Glad that you're with us here on this October the 28th. Ross Volkmer and Max Gershon with you here for a full week ahead after a very exciting and entertaining weekend of sports. That is for sure. As always, the FE Bank text line is open. You can join us that way, no matter if you're listening on the radio, the stream, or, of course, the Hurdle Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Max, looks like you didn't get much sleep over the weekend, my friend.
I'm a little tired, but we're powering through. I did want to say, first off, that it was just announced minutes ago by Jeff Passan that Kansas City Royals catcher Salvador Perez has won the Roberto Clemente Award, the prestigious honor given to a player for service and philanthropy. So that's a very prestigious award for people that do good in their community, and I don't think there's anyone better in the league to get that award than Salvi.
It's amazing what one game of playing softball in a kid's backyard will do for you. Just joking. That's not all that he does, but that does certainly help, I'm sure. But anyway, how was the weekend, Max?
It was good. It was a lot of good sports, like you mentioned. I mean, starting off hot with that grand slam in the World Series by Freddie Freeman. Game 2 was also great. KU made it close, which was fun, but they seem to do that every week, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, just really a lot of good sports. So can't complain a bit.
Now, we've got a full show ahead for you today. We will be discussing plenty of different things. We will get to Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz. He'll be joining us talking the NFL coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We'll get to whatever we missed from in the leftovers from our weekend winners and losers, which let's dive into right now.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
Starting with winners of the weekend. Max, what do you got?
My first winner is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns upsetting the Ravens behind Jameis Winston. Much needed win for that franchise. I mean, look, Deshaun Watson obviously out for the year. You know, he had a rough season before. He got hurt, obviously. Didn't throw for 300 yards once. And then here comes Jameis Winston, the former number 1 overall pick from FSU. And he dominates a really good defense, throwing for 300-plus yards and a few touchdowns with no picks as well, including that game-winning touchdown at the end of the game. So the Browns have to be one of the biggest winners this weekend because they needed it. They needed a win. They needed a little bit of a culture change mid-season. Because this is a team that people really expected to do a lot better this year and compete in the North, and they just haven't done that. And Jameis Winston kind of proved that they can be a winning team, and they can, turn the season around as much as possible at this point. So Browns, my first weekend winner.
There's no doubt it was a great weekend for the Browns, a great weekend for like 1-6 teams in the NFL. I was trying to think. I know there was another team yesterday that had just one win. That picked up a victory. There were a couple of teams that got 1-win victories besides the Browns, and for some reason it's eluding me. There we go. Thank you. Patriots. You're exactly right. The Patriots had 1 win, beat the Jets. So it was a nice weekend for kind of the 1-6 teams, unless you are the Tennessee Titans, who got absolutely murdered by the Lions as they committed 4 turnovers in that game and also let a punt return get returned for a touchdown. I mean, the Titans are not in a good spot in any way, shape, or form. But overall, it was a decent weekend. And it just goes to prove that this is professional football. And there's a salary cap. And so the teams are supposed to be pretty equal. And that means anybody can win on any given day. There's not a Yankees. There's not a Dodgers where there are millions of dollars more in the salary on their payroll than the Royals or the Diamondbacks or whatever else you want to throw in there. No, the teams are equal. At least they should be in payment-wise. They have the same amount of money to spend, which is what makes it great. And so that I sit there and say, this is what should happen. Yeah. But there are teams that are poorly coached, whatever you want to put it, the excuses in there, don't have the right team chemistry, locker room, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was a good weekend for 1-6 teams for the most part, I'd say, in the NFL.
And I got to say, talking about that Titans game briefly, it reminded me of the Colby Scott City game this weekend because it was close for a second. And then it got out of hand really quickly. The better team, ending up blowing out the Titans and then blowing out Colby over the weekend. So that's kind of similar. But Calvin Ridley was on pace, I believe, after the first quarter. Obviously he had like 100+ yards in one quarter. He was playing phenomenal. But yeah, just the Lions, a powerhouse.
It's a 4-quarter game, baby. It's a 4-quarter game. Got to play the whole thing. My first winner of the weekend is going to be, I'm going to say, area cross-country runners as well as state volleyball qualifiers for our area athletes. In recapping it all, in cross-country, you had 4 area teams, and I believe 8 individuals qualify for cross-country, if my math is correct, in breaking down what happened this past Saturday. The Quinter boys, as expected, won the 1A Great Bend Regional. Quinter girls came in 4th, so both of their teams qualified for state. Hoxie boys and girls had the best showing of anybody. They both won the 2A Norton Regional, qualifying their teams. Individuals that qualified, Oakley's going to send 3. Aaron Samuelson and Carter Cryer. Samuelson placed 9th. Cryer placed 22nd in the 2A Norton Boys Regional. Cadence Cook of Oakley placed 20th in the girls' race. She has qualified. Goodlands, Jacelyn Gable placed 14th in the 3A race there at Norton. She has qualified for state. Golden Plains is going to send 3 runners. Ezekiel Weiner, Elizabeth Weiner, and Adeline Meyer all qualified for the 1A state cross country, as did St. Francis's Breck Lore. Congratulations to those 8 individuals and Hoxie boys and girls, Quinter boys and girls for qualifying for state cross country. So that was a great showing. They'll be competing here this upcoming weekend across the state and state cross country. And then you had sub-state volleyball. Remember, we had 10 teams that were still alive in the hunt for making it to the state tournament. Well, only 4 teams were able to make it out of the sub-state round and advance to state. Oakley got it done. They defeated Hoxie. It took 3 sets, but they beat Hoxie in their 2A sub-state final. The Lady Plainsmen going to state. I would love to know the stat the last time Oakley went to state in volleyball. It had to have been a while ago. I would love to know that stat. If somebody has that, hit us up on the FB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. But Oakley volleyball's going. St. Francis, in a little bit of a surprise, goes up to Mankato Rock Hills, which is up near where I'm almost from, about only an hour away. Goes up there, and they beat Ellis in straight sets and Rock Hills in straight sets. They're going to state is St. Francis. Greeley County, they've kind of been building for this for the last couple of years. They've had a couple of great players. They are going to state. They swept Rollins County and Stockton to make it to state when they were hosting their sub-state. And then Wheatland Grinnell, they are the consistent volleyball team that makes it to state. It seems like almost every year to every other year. They beat Wallace County 2-0 in their sub-state final in Sharon Springs, and they are headed to state. So Wheatland Grinnell, Greeley County, St. Francis, and Oakley all heading to the state volleyball tournaments coming up here this next week. And congratulations to those teams. Like I mentioned, Rollins County season is done. Wallace County season is done. Colby, I said that it was going to be a very tough deal. They made it to the sub-state finals, but they lost to Beloit pretty handily, 25-15, 25-12. Lady Eagles in their season with a 34-7 record. It was very, very good, but there are some very, very good teams in 3A. Cheyenne, they also were in the mix this past weekend. They lost to Ingalls in their sub-state finals. They were in the sub-state finals, but lost, ending their season as well. So congratulations to the 4 area volleyball teams, the 4 cross-country teams from the area, and, of course, those 8 individuals on making it to state, which is coming up this next weekend. And best of luck. We'll touch on that more later on in the week. My first winners of the weekend. All right, continuing on weekend winners and losers, Max. What do you got next?
Are we going to losers, or are we staying one more?
Stick on winners. If you got more winners, throw them out.
Weekend winners. My last weekend winner, as much as it pains me to say it, is K-State. It's the K-State Wildcats surviving and advancing against the Kansas Jayhawks. Even though KU played a good 3 quarters, keeping it close, they did what I asked. They had made Avery Johnson throw the football. I thought overall, it was the same story from KU as we've seen every week of keeping it close and then choking the game away in the 4th quarter. I've had enough. That's most likely the last KU football game I'm going to watch this year. So K-State.
Fairweather fan.
It's just why would I put myself through something like that I didn't watch the full World Series game because I was watching KU choke away a lead against K-State. If there's a better football game on or a better any sport on, I'm watching it this year. I've had enough. I've had enough with the shenanigans of the KU football team this season.
Remember, KU used to just get blasted, all the time. They weren't even competitive in games, and now they're heartbreaks.
That was expected. They were expected to get their butts kicked every time they stepped on the football field. Now they were at least expected to win football games, and they're not winning football games, and they're losing in some of the craziest fashions you could ever imagine. That's K-State. I'll give it to them. Weekend winner.
I mean, it was a great game. It was if you didn't watch it, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening to the show were tuned in and watching that game. I don't know why you wouldn't be. It was very, very entertaining. It was back and forth, big plays, great quarterbacking play from both teams. But I mean, I got to give Kansas a lot of credit. I thought their defense, it was much improved. Their defense was better. They got off the field. It was the offense that unfortunately gave K-State the win. I mean, they had the ball with 4 minutes left and the lead. All they had to do was pick up a few first downs, and that game was going to be over. But a 3rd down play where Jalen Daniels takes off to run, doesn't protect the football, fumbles it away. All of a sudden, K-State has it back, and they've got one of the better kickers in all of college football, and Chris Tennant, who hits a 51-yarder like it's nothing. and then the defense goes out there and gets a stop when Kansas needs it on a 4th down, and they couldn't get it. So that to me, that was the biggest play. The biggest play to me was Kansas had the lead, 4 minutes left, had the ball. They had stopped K-State. All they had to do was get first downs, and they couldn't. Instead, they turned it over. Even if you punt, it's okay, but you fumbled it, leaving a short field. And give credit to Kansas defense. 51-yard field goes a long ways. I mean, they held K-State's offense. I got to give a ton of credit to Kansas's defense. But I know exactly how KU fans feel. I know exactly how you feel, where you have felt like you are so close to winning all of these games, but to just get gut punched every single weekend. I know exactly how you feel. Exactly. And I'm not even talking about this past weekend with Nebraska at Ohio State. I'm talking the 2021 season. I'm talking the 2022 season. There's been a ton of seasons with Nebraska football that have been just like this one. So close, just can't get the win. I feel bad for you.
Don't you feel like this is always how these K-State KU games go? There's some crazy. The guy catches the football and steps out of bounds at the 1 yard line. It's just it's then a safety happens, and that turns into a 9-point change. You've got the fumble at the end of the game. Then we can't. What do we do on this last drive? What is happening? They're blitzing every single time. We have no game plan of how to get around this. I mean, it's ridiculous. The play calling on the final drive when they're just sending pressure and we have nothing in response to it. Not even a quick out, no screen, nothing. We know it's coming. We can't stop it. Just hard to watch. It's been hard to watch all year. And I really thought it was going to change after the win last week in this watching the first half until, the end of the half, which has also been a struggle. It's really just the end of both halves have been the death to Kansas football all season long, and it continues. So
inexperience at key spots hurts that, and unfortunately, some poor play calling does hurt that as well. But great game nonetheless. Looking at it from the 30,000 foot view, that was a great game. And totally entertaining. Moving on, continuing weekend winners. I got plenty more. I got to give a shout out to St. Francis's quarterback, Lucas Riley. His stat line from this weekend's win over Stockton. I know it's Stockton, and Stockton's not having a good season, or didn't have a good season. I get it. But Lucas Riley went 14 of 21 passing the football for not 1, not 2, not even 5, but 7 passing touchdowns for Lucas Riley. He completed 14 passes. Half of them went for 6 points each time. And so Lucas Riley had an unbelievable weekend for St. Francis, who rolled Stockton in an easy 52-6 win. I think that's what the final, 57-6 win. That was absolutely nuts. By the way, 4 of those passes were caught for touchdowns by Dayton Fromholtz. So it was a ridiculous stat line. That was the best stat line I saw in high school football reported here this past weekend. Looking at other area football scores from this past weekend, I know Max mentioned it earlier that Colby fought hard for pretty much 3 quarters, it felt like, and then ended up just could not continue to match the physicality of Scott City, who wins 41-12. But I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing visiting with some Colby fans over the weekend, but Colby makes the playoffs. They're in the playoffs thanks to the points, even though Hugetson got the win and acted, and I thought they got in personally with the win, and I think a lot of Colby fans did too. They acted like they got the win after they beat Hugetson. They didn't. They got left at home. And playing in that bowl game, Colby still makes the postseason. Unfortunately, they have to go to Wichita Collegiate in the first round, which is no fun. But nonetheless, Colby makes the postseason despite getting beaten by Scott City, 41-12. Goodland lost 35-33 to Hugetson. You want to talk about two teams, Max, you want to talk about clash of styles. Goodland threw for over 400 yards in this game. Hugetson ran for over 400 yards in this game. Neither Hugetson went 1 for 5 passing the football for 10 yards with a touchdown. That was the total passing stats. Goodland ran the ball 4 measly times for 8 yards.
4 times.
4 times they ran the ball in that loss. Ridiculous. Wow. I mean, think about it. Just the clash of styles. And the Cowboys lose 35-33, which there was dejection after the game, and understandably so. There were some seniors that were out on the field late into the night mean, usually I'm one of the last ones to leave the stadium, one of the last, and the lights are off and all that stuff. There were still seniors out there on the field. I think in just, in sadness and that their last game at Cowboys Stadium, and they knew they had another game coming up, but I think they really wanted to win that game. And I think they wanted to win because I think they wanted to get a certain opponent. I think some people wanted to see a certain opponent the Cowboys face if they could. To tell you the truth, it was the Cowboys got about as good a draw, I think, as you could have gotten for the postseason having to go to Heston. There's a lot of people who think I remember visiting people not even in Goodland, other people outside of Goodland saying, boy, you want to go to Heston. That's where you want to go for the first round because Heston might have just one loss, but I don't know how good of a team they are, how many good teams they've played. So we'll see what happens on Friday, but I think the Cowboys got a pretty good draw despite losing by 2 to Hugoton in that contest. A couple more quick ones here. Weskin with a shutout of Tri-Plains Brewster 60-0. Weskin, by the way, gets a bye. Tri-Plains Brewster headed to Moscow for the first round of the postseason. Hoxie rolled Rollins County. That's supposed to be probably the game of the week. Hoxie proves that they are just on a different level than anybody else. 52-6. Braden Sheets ran for 125 and 4 touchdowns. They held Ryan Schromick to 135 and a score. They also had another guy, Dorian Corwell went for over 100 yards, but it didn't really matter. Hoxie's going to host La Crosse in the first round. Rollins County will host Ellis in the first round. Decatur Community, they fell to Hill City 56-20. That means the Red Devils will head to Wichita County. Oakley hammered Stanton County 56-9. Carson Beal ran for 132 yards on just 9 carries with a touchdown. They had 5 different plainsmen have a score. Oakley will head to Valley Heights. That's a long, long trip, by the way. That's like north of Manhattan is where Oakley will be heading for the first round of the playoffs. Quinter was held scoreless at Trigo 48-0. They finish 0-8, does Quinter. Golden Plains won easily at Cheylin 58-8. Josh Rath threw for 4 touchdowns. Dylan Wark ran for 111 and 2 scores. Golden Plains gets a bye. Cheylin will be at Ingalls on it's 2 weekends less than 2 weeks away. They get a bye, and then they'll play that first round game on the 8th, which will be a second round game. Wallace County shut out Wheatland Grinnell. Wallace County will be at Mineola after that 46-0 win in the first round of the playoffs. Wheatland Grinnell goes to Buckland. Talked about St. Francis. They finish at 4-4. They do not make the postseason. They'll have a bowl game. And Greeley County, they lost to Dighton 62-0. A few of the high school football scores from this past weekend. And then I got one more quick winner, too, before we move on to losers and sprint through that. But I got to give a shout out to Colorado football and any fans of Colorado football. I mean, look, Colorado football 6 win with that win over Cincinnati on late Saturday night. Bowl eligible for the first time since 2006. If you take out that COVID year where they were kind of taking anybody who wanted to go play, but Colorado bowl eligible for the first time officially since 2016. By the way, they're also ranked now. They're in the top 25. Prime is done. I'll give Coach Prime a lot of credit. His philosophy of taking the best players he could possibly get and trying to mold them together, it just takes time, but it looks like it has worked. That defense is vastly improved from a year ago. Their offensive line play continues to get better. They have the best. They have a couple of the best weapons and probably the best quarterback wide receiver combo in Shadur and Travis Hunter. But Colorado football deserves to be a winner of the weekend. They've really proven here, and they've still got a chance to pick up some more wins. I mean, they could get, and there's still 4 weeks left. I mean, they could get to 8-9 wins possibly. We'll see how it all goes. Heck of a showing from Colorado football, though. Winner of the weekend.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how they do next year. I know they do have a top quarterback recruit. So once Shador and Travis are gone, I still think that they have a chance to still be a really good football team.
I'd be concerned if I'm Colorado if Prime picks up a couple more wins here, he could be gone. Could be going somewhere else.
Interesting. In college football still?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Probably to the SEC, maybe the ACC with his home team. Maybe if Mike Norvell is let go, maybe he goes to Florida State. I know that seems like a stretch.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think I remember one time our good friend of the show, Riley Gates, said this is only going to be a 2 to 3 year deal with Prime. He's either going to fail epically and get fired or have unbelievable success and have to go somewhere else. And right now it's looking like he's having that type of success that's going to put him somewhere else in the near future.
Good.
All right. Quickly, weekend losers. What do you got?
New York sports. It's that simple. Jets, Giants play tonight, so I guess they could, save this weekend. But Jets.
Are we expecting that? Not really.
No, but Monday night. Weird things happen on Monday Night Football, so who knows? But Jets, Yankees, Jets season pretty much over, and they just went all in like a week ago. So it's weird that their season's basically already over after they just went all in. So they're in a really sticky situation. And then the Yankees going down 0-2 and 2 heartbreaking losses. So that's my weekend loser.
No doubt about it. I got a couple weekend losers. The first, the Chicago Bears.
Ooh,
and why? And why? Because of this.
Daniels backing up. He's just going to have to let one fly. Goes to the right side. Steps away from the defenders. Gives himself some time. Now steps up, fires. Heads towards the end zone. It is...
How do you not love an insane call?
Love it.
Love it. That was the local radio call for the Washington Commanders as they had a Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels to the end zone. Noah Brown catches it off a tip. There's a whole lot into that, too. The guy who made the tip was talking trash to the crowd 30 yards away from where it all happened. Yeah, that was...
Have you seen the picture? You've seen the video of him talking, right?
Yes, I've seen the video of him talking to the crowd. It's not good. It's a bad look. So Chicago Bears, no doubt, weekend losers. And I got a couple more quick ones for you. Navy football got destroyed by Notre Dame. They had a chance for a big upset, folks. But when you run that style of offense and you commit 6 turnovers, you aren't going to win any games. Can't commit 6 turnovers. So there you go. Navy football and Chicago Bears, losers of the weekend for me. Oh, what a great call. Love it. You can just see those guys going nuts, hugging, high-fiving. You can just see it as they're going nuts. You can just see it.
It's just, that was such a, that's exactly how the game should have ended. I mean, Caleb Williams threw for 36 yards in the first 3 quarters, and he gets it close at the end, and then just beautiful. It was a really good Sunday of football. It really
good.
was. There was a lot of good games.
That was an ugly game for pretty much 3 quarters. It ended on a high note, but it was ugly.
It did.
I got to give the Bears a lot of credit. There's a lot of games that just would have been over. You know, they couldn't get anything going. They found a way they found something in the 4th quarter to get it done. But unfortunately, they tried to bat it down, but in the process of batting it down, they tipped it up and someone got behind.
Such karma for you gotta, if you haven't seen the video, go to Twitter, you'll find it pretty easily. I think it was Tyreek Stevenson or something like that.
Yep, that's exactly right who it was.
And I mean, his back is facing the ball's been snapped and his back is facing the offensive line, and then he runs all the way over and he's the one that accidentally tips it, and it's just, that's football. That's what you love to see. You dream of those moments. You dream for those moments as a football fan. As a third-party viewer, you dream for that chaos at the end of games. 3 holding calls were missed, but they never call him on Hail Marys. He's sprinting around in the pocket and just launches a prayer out.
Oh, gosh. Nuts. All right, there you go. Weekend winners and losers here on a Monday morning. We'll get to our first time out. We'll be back with Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz next here on the Morning Blitz.
Your Cheyenne County Hospital in St. Francis offers you a quality rehabilitation department. This includes a variety of staff that provides physical therapy, occupational therapy, aquatic therapy, speech therapy, and women's health. Hospital on 210 West Street in St. Francis.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Tom Saludo with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on October 28th. Each corn is down 2 at $4.13 a quarter. March corn down 2 at $4.27. May down 1.5 at $4.35.5. November soybeans down 7 at $9.80. Jan soybeans down 7 at $9.90, and March down 7.25 at $10.01. Winter wheat December is unchanged at $5.71.5. March is unchanged at $5.85, and May is unchanged at $5.95. The Dow Jones is currently up 172 points at 42,493. S&P is up 32 points at 5,878. Nasdaq is up 157 points at 20,657. Gold is slightly down at 27.46. and crude oil is down 6% at $67.24 a barrel. If you're out in the Colorado area and have any grains to market or risk management questions, please call John Hanke or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Ball, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Now's the time to get right with Pivot Bio Nitrogen. The right source at the right rate at the right time in the right place. Sounds good, right? And now is the right time to act. With zero payments, zero interest, and zero worry until December 1st, 2025 on the best source of nitrogen. Get right with Pivot Bio. For more information, visit pivotsprovenit.com. That's pivotsprovenit.com.
The one hail of a sale continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get huge savings on not just lightly hailed on vehicles, but also ones that don't have hail or have had the hail fixed. For example, a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali with no hail up to $7,000 off when you're a loyal Buick or GMC owner, now just over $68K. A 24 Chevy Tahoe RST with hail up to $14,000 off, now just $58K. It's one hail of a sale, and it continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, online at hurlchev.com.
Miss the weekend action?
Yes, you caught me.
No worries. We've got all the highlights and lowlights covered.
Hey, okay, well, catch me up.
This is the Morning Blitz with Russ Volkmer.
Hands it off. Devin Neal cuts it back. The 15, the 10, the 5. He will not be denied. Touchdown, Kansas.
Shotgun snap. Nix looks left. Floats one to the end zone. He was Troutman. One-handed catch. Touchdown, Denver.
A few more highlights from this past weekend of sports. It was a good weekend. A lot of good games, a lot of good action. F&B Bank text line chiming in. Loyal listener Michael says his winner of the weekend is Bo Nix. Bo Nix was good, by the way. Had just 9 incompletions, 3 touchdowns. Good weekend for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. They get a win, as they should have, over the Carolina Panthers. Talking more NFL now as we welcome into the broadcast on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. There he is, our good friend Nick Athen. Good morning, Nick. How are you doing today?
Good morning, gents. I'm doing pretty good. Victory Monday.
That's right.
At least for the Chiefs.
It was. You are exactly right. It was for the Chiefs. Absolutely. No doubt about that. To me, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't. To me, the biggest thing that I took away from that Chiefs game was third quarter, about late third quarter, deep in their own territory. A pass is deflected, intercepted, and the Raiders get 4 shots from inside the 5, and they cannot do it. That Chiefs defense was as good as it's been. I don't know what else we could say about this Chiefs defense, Nick. It's just been fantastic.
Yeah, it is, and it just all starts with Steve Spagnuolo. You know, the attitude he's instilled in these guys, and when you listen to them talk about one another, they preach family, they preach having each other's back, they preach understanding the big moment. They know what to do now. They're seasoned professionals, and I think this game really pivoted on the linebacker play. Tranquil, Bolton, Chanel, they had 19 tackles between the 3 of them, 3 pressures and 2 sacks, or 3 plays behind the line of scrimmage. And they're just firing on all cylinders right now. And that stand was just incredible. And George Karlaftis played, I think one of his best games he's played in a really, really long time. He was disruptive. He made the key, he pushed the right tackle into Gardner Minshew, and then Wharton came up and just cleaned up the sack on that 4th down play. The Raiders are poorly coached. It's a bad football team. The crowd was 55% Chiefs fans. Just all the things you talk about, but this defense, it's just unbelievable. We've not seen this in Kansas City. Even when Derek Thomas and Neil Smith were back there were still some issues with this defense. They were great. They were all about the sacks. But this team is the best team I've seen against the run. I mean, just look at all these running backs who have, are Derrick Henry's the MVP. Blah, you saw that again yesterday. He's not the MVP. So I just think that, this defense is flying right now. They are the pulse of this football team. And listen, they've gone 28 games of holding opponents to 28 points or less. It's just that's unheard of in Kansas City.
Isn't it just amazing, Nick, that they get this done? And I don't know, they really, at this point in time, only have one real superstar in Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's kind of a, still kind of get to know you type guys.
It's the glue guy mentality. You usually have to have 4 or 5 guys on offense and 4 or 5 guys on defense who are just your glue guys that don't make a whole lot of money. They're not household names. Yet the Chiefs appear to have about 8 or 9 of those guys. And look at Pennell. Defensive tackle. He's 33 years old. He makes one of the big stops in the game. He's just a mauler up front, and he stops and he helps with the run defense. They just find guys that just fit the roles. And listen, they were without Watson yesterday, and Z Johnson struggled. This secondary they're going to have to make a trade. I think for another veteran cornerback. I don't think there's any question they can get through the rest of the season without bringing in another guy up, unless they want to give the reins to Roland Wallace, who gave up a touchdown late. I mean, he had pretty good coverage, but you look at this defense overall, and you look at the secondary. That's kind of a little bit of a weakness. But then again, listen, they just made the plays, and the offense was good in the red zone again. And that's 2-3 weeks in a row now that they've had success.
That was my question is what you think that they're going to do now with Najee Johnson with a concussion. Obviously, Jalen Watson out for the year. That cornerback spot kind of becomes weaker. Do you think that they look for a trade or do they look into free agency? What's kind of the plan there?
They have talked to the Carolina Panthers about J.C. Horn. That is high on their radar right now. J.C. Horn obviously yesterday got in Sean Payton's face at the end of the game. That's his way of saying, get me the heck out of here. I want to be traded. It's a bad look for the organization when a player challenges an opposing coach on, after a game. So that to me, I think he's going to get traded. Now he's got a big salary cap number, so I think the Chiefs are going to have to be creative in how they do it. They did create a little cap space this past week, converting some money from their Juwan Taylor.
Right.
So, they've got about $8 million right now. Obviously, they made the Hopkins trade, which was just brilliant. But, they have to find another corner. In my opinion, unless, again, Roland Wallace has got some good instincts. I mean, they had him blitzing yesterday. He's a good cover guy, undrafted free agent. You know how Spags loves those undrafted guys. But, yeah, they don't have a lot of depth. And I like Najee Johnson, and he entered training camp as the number 2 cornerback, behind McDuffie. But Watson kind of emerged and was having an all-pro year till he, obviously fractured his leg. So they got to do something, Max.
Yeah, I think the other biggest hole on this team, if it's a hole or if it's just a position of weakness, is right tackle. Left tackle.
Yeah. The opposite side of right is
opposite
left.
Side of right.
This is right, and this is left.
Left tackle. Well, Jawan is on the other. Okay, so yeah.
I'm sorry.
Left tackle. No. What do you do? Do they stick with Wanye? I know he really struggled with the holding calls this week. I know our rookie wasn't really that much better in his couple starts before they pulled him. So what do you think the plan is moving on?
Ironically, Max Crosby had 43 snaps against both tackles, and he didn't get a single pressure. So yeah, there was, and of course a couple of those were stopped because of penalties. But I think Taylor played his best game as a Chief yesterday. He was brilliant. I mean, he didn't give up squat. And, Wanye Morris, his problem is footwork, and I don't think it's something that they can just suddenly correct for this season. It's just about how he uses leverage. And I know they're working with Kingsley Suamatea a lot in practice. And I do expect at some point they're probably going to put him out there just to get him some more reps, because you might need that tackle in the postseason. Now, ultimately, I think the Chiefs are in a perilous situation with the tackle position. But, the way Mahomes talks about it after the game, they did a great job pass blocking. They did really good run, in the run block situation. And, I don't think he's panicked or worried about it. I think from us that we see this when you get a guy who has, 2 straight penalties in the third quarter, down by your goal line, including one that should have been a safety. But you have to you have to be forward thinking. Now the Chiefs are looking for a veteran, a tackle. Donovan Smith is still out there. He hasn't signed with anybody, but we don't know what kind of shape he's in. That was a good experiment last year. He did pretty well, but even he struggled. So, for now it's those two, but I think Kingsley's going to get another shot at some point.
Interesting.
ChiefsBlitz.com. Nick Athen joins us here on the Morning Blitz. Travis Kelce had his most productive game of the season. What does that mean going forward in your mind?
He's not old yet. Everybody wrote him off, and the fact that he hadn't had a touchdown this year, and I just thought it was great to see him out there. They put the focus on him early. He missed a big opportunity in the third quarter. That pass he dropped, he would have still been running. There was nothing in front of him had he split the corner and the safety there. And I think when you look at Travis, that he's just a football player, and he doesn't care about the stats, and he doesn't care what people say. He's not driven by anything other than to be the best teammate he can and to make plays on the field for his quarterback and for his team. And this is a good sign. Noah Gray really had a great game last week against the 49ers. Travis has a great game against the Raiders. These two guys together are a really good tight end. So, and that's how the Chiefs are going to use him this year. And it's smart for them to do so. But, Kelce's not done. He still has it. He's not as fast, and he doesn't run the routes quite precisely as he used to. But would you rather him not be on the team? And then you look at his blocking skills. He is blocking his tail off. I've never seen Travis block like this before. And now with Jody Fortson out, which is really sad because he's just been through so many injuries. He's done. And this could be career done for Jody Fortson. But, Travis has got to step up, and he's making the plays in the running game. And that's impressive to me for a guy of that superstar quality to be willing to sacrifice his body when the catches aren't there prior to, this last week. And
do you feel that Xavier Worthy, I know he had a touchdown late yesterday, but do you think that I know they kind of have to because of the injuries, but do you think that his usage is kind of affecting his play?
I think a little bit. Obviously Juju was out. Hopkins had limited snaps. I figured he'd play about 20, 30 snaps. He had a couple of really big catches. And I think with Worthy, they're not sure what to do with him. They don't want him just to be a blazer out there. They have to teach him how to run some of these routes that Rashee Rice. Juju was out. I think when Juju's healthy, and I think Juju's going to play in a couple of weeks, you get Hopkins up to speed, and then you got Kelce and Gray, and then I think you're going to kind of see Worthy. They're trying to force feed him the ball and opportunities right now. And, he's small. He's not a big receiver. Mahomes, threw a couple of high passes his way, and almost the touchdown too, almost threw it too high, but he went up and got it. And I think they're not really sure what to do with him. They want him to get up to speed on all aspects of the receiver position, going inside and outside. Primarily they've got him as an outside guy, but listen, I think he's going to be okay. I don't think he's down on himself. He's only had 18 targets or 17 targets and only 6 receptions. The big miss last weekend against the 49ers. That was just on Mahomes. He ran a perfect route. So they're going to have to kind of decide what they want to do with him. Now, Hollywood Brown is probably going to be back in December at some point. And then you add all those pieces together, and then Worthy becomes a complementary piece, a dangerous one. And kind of like the way the Bills use Shakir. I like what they're trying to do with him, but I think fans need to kind of temper the enthusiasm back. Let's get a dose of reality. Rashee Rice struggled for about half the year last year before the light came on. And at some point when they kind of decide and they have a little bit more around him, what they want to do with him, he's smart enough to figure it out. He's good enough to figure it out. And Andy Reid will find the right direction for this young man.
Nick Athen, our guest here from Chiefs Blitz. What else stood out to you about Week 8, Nick, in the NFL as a whole?
Obviously the Commanders. That was just, I'm old enough to see about every Hail Mary that you could possibly see. And that was by far the best. And you know what was crazy about that? Had that ball not been tipped, it still would have been caught because the trajectory was for the receiver in the end zone who's behind the play. That pass that running around, that scrambling. I told everybody Daniels is going to be the guy. He's going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. It just, God love this kid. He bruised ribs or fractured ribs, and he's out there running around and giving everything he can. He didn't play his best game up to that point, but again, they would have had 400 yards of off. I mean, that was a surprise to me that, he was able to play and make that throw. That was a 70-yard pass. And he wasn't even positioned correctly to really step into it. He was kind of still at a side angle. So that was impressive. Bo Nix and the Broncos, I mean, I know it's the Panthers, but you have to be a good football team to beat bad teams convincingly. You just can't, just because they suck on the other side of the field and they got quarterback and coaching issues and players want out and all these things, it doesn't really matter. But to me, Bo Nix is surprising. I've said this on your show. I know there's a lot
You're
of
not
Broncos
a fan
fans.
of him.
I wasn't a fan. I don't like Sean Payton. I think he's an ass. I just don't care for the guy. But the combination is working, and they don't really have, they got a lot of glue guys. Their defense is lights out. It's not quite on par with the Chiefs, but it's really close. And if Bo Nix can get on the move and he can get away from the pocket and he can do the kind of things that used to torture Chiefs, when Kubiak was the head coach, play actions and bootlegs and things like that, he's going to be a good quarterback in this league. Now, they play the Ravens, and then they play the Chiefs on the road. They've had a cupcake schedule, let's be honest with you. It's been pretty soft, and but they win a lot of those games. But for me, the test is going to be the next 2 weeks. So I think that was the other surprise, of the weekend.
We talked about Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. We've talked about some young quarterbacks. I'm kind of curious, behind Patrick Mahomes, who's the most exciting quarterback in the NFL?
Boy, that's a tough
Because there's some good ones.
There's some really...
I'm going to throw a name out there that I think we all forget about. I love watching Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable. His ability to just kind of move around the pocket and make plays. I'm not saying he is, but he's in that group. He is entertaining to watch.
You know what's great about it? I mean, and again, not a huge fan, sorry. But what's great about him is he has a glide in the pocket. It's not like it's like he's got a 6th and 7th and 8th sense. He just knows how to move and he knows when to run. I mean, he's short. He's 5'9" at best.
5'10", 5'9".
Yeah. If 5'9" with the high cleat, the half-inch cleat.
The half-inch cleat.
So you have to look at that and go, oh my goodness, how does he do it? And again, he's up and down. He's not using until yesterday. He hasn't really used his offensive weapon the way that everybody else thought. And I think it's surprising to me that they don't have a better record, but he played great against the Dolphins. I mean, he buried the Dolphins. The Dolphins are done. The Jets are done. Another big, no surprise there. I think the last surprise for me, to be honest with you, is Lamar Jackson. Again, not a fan. I hate to keep beating a dead horse here, but I don't put him in that category. I really just don't put him in that category behind Mahomes because he can't win those big moments in games. When he has to pass the ball, he has to get out of the pocket, he makes some great plays. But the Browns defense is really, really good. And when he faces really, really good defenses, he struggles. So, guy can't be magical all the time, but you got to learn how to win those fourth quarter games and those postseason games when your team needs you to tie a score or win a game. And it's just not there. So I think Murray's the most interesting behind Mahomes right now because we still don't quite know what he is yet. And I think he's a fascinating player.
He once again is Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz. Nick, it's always great. Is that a KU sweatshirt we got on today? Boy.
My boy Lance, my message to Lance Leopold is very simple. Blow up the whole staff. Get rid of everybody. Start over. Get some younger voices in there. Get rid of Grimes. Get rid of the defensive coordinator. Maybe keep the special teams coach. but I would say blow it all up if you want to take the next level.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Nick, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Talk to you next Monday.
Once again, there he goes. Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz here on the Morning Blitz. All right, let's get to break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show next here on a Monday.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2706. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2706. That's 800-575-2706. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
No one rambles on better than Ross Volkmer.
All you do is talk.
On the Morning Blitz.
I'm a man on a mission.
Thanks again to Nick Athen for hopping on the show as we wrap up the show here with some leftovers and put a few final thoughts on a few things here real quickly. I do want to get to, we mentioned, of course, the Chiefs with the win over the Raiders, 27-20. Didn't cover, but get the win nonetheless, remain unbeaten. By the way, Patrick Mahomes, 262 yards, becoming the fastest quarterback to reach 30,000 career passing yards for the Chiefs. Just ridiculous. Bo Nix, we mentioned how great he was, 3 touchdowns. I'd say it hasn't taken long for our good friend Nick Athen to kind of turn the tide on Bo Nix. He was so anti-Bo Nix when the season began. But 3 touchdown passes, ran for that's 4 total TDs. They take care of Carolina 28-14. One of those kind of a garbage touchdowns, really 28-7 was the final there. We talked a lot about Avery Johnson and Kansas State beating KU 29-23. Of course, Colorado, I mentioned that. They get to bowl eligibility with a 34-23 win over Cincinnati. Nebraska, my goodness, you would talk about heartbreak. A very, very, very hard-fought loss at Ohio State, 21-17. They shut down Ohio State's rushing attack. Got burnt on pretty much 3 plays that went for touchdowns, and the offense had the ball late but could not get down the field to score. Some questionable offensive play calling there on the Nebraska sideline. And I always hate to bash the officials, but there were some very, very, very poor no calls and missed calls in that game, including spotting the football. Once again, I go back to my point we were talking about on Friday, Max. Get these guys some help. These are billion-dollar industries. Put more stripes on the field. Put a guy who just stands at the line, who stands at the first down marker. And like, okay, did he get it? Yes. And if they spot, there was a play where Nebraska got a first down by 1.5 yards. Yep. They marked it 1 yard short. How do you miss it by 2.5 yards? What are you looking at? What are you missing? Put someone there. Get these guys some help. Put more people on the field. Put people in the box. I don't care. Plenty of missed holding calls as well. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that's just the Big Ten wanting Ohio State to be good. Fine, whatever. I'm not going to say that. No, but man, some very bad missed calls this weekend. And it's across all of them. I'm just saying, I'm not blaming the officials. It's a very hard job to do. But what I am saying is get these guys some help so they can get these problems alleviated.
Yeah, it was a rough week for my predictions, Ross. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah.
You.
Yeah, I had what did you go this weekend in the pick six picks?
I think I went 2-4. Does that sound right?
Sounds right to me. You got to start writing this stuff down, amigo.
I know. I forgot
you need to get yourself. You need to get a notepad and start taking notes.
I don't know how I forgot to write it again.
I know you've been my good luck Chuck because I went 4-2 this weekend. I had Nebraska covering at Ohio State. I had Colorado covering. I had the over on points. That was amazing. The over under was 55.5. It was 56 between K-State and KU. How does Vegas know this stuff?
Always.
It's ridiculous. But I got the dub. Kansas City didn't cover the 9.5. Broncos did cover the 10. And Notre Dame Navy, I had under at 52.5. No, Notre Dame had more points than that. So that was wrong. But 4-2 puts me at 9-3 since you joined the show. I'm feeling good now.
I got
a heater.
Get my stuff together because I had the Dodgers beating the Yankees in game 1 with the grand slam. No, that was right.
Oh, I guess that's right. You're right. That's right.
Was right. And then the other one I got right was Colorado covering. I had Ohio State to cover. I had KU to win, and then I had the Chiefs to cover and the Panthers to cover. So just rough stuff. A lot of gutsy picks, I will say. Some of those were gutsy, but yeah, that didn't pan out for your boy this week.
Gutsy or betting with your heart when it came to the Jayhawks. Betting with the heart.
So close.
All right, so there you go. The pick six picks the weekend. Yours truly still in the lead now, 9-3 since Max has joined the show. We'll just forget about whatever happened prior to that. It wasn't any good, so we'll just start over fresh.
That's what I saw. I think you've already passed. You're not a win. You had 8 wins when I joined.
I think what did I have prior? I had that written down somewhere. What did I have?
That's what it said.
I think I had 8 or 10. It wasn't anymore. It was no more than 10. So yeah, I've had a great back-to-back weeks. Finally caught up on a heater here. That's good. You got to get better next weekend. All right, on to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
It's game 3 tonight of the World Series from the Bronx. Do the Yankees get a game back here?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it's going 3-0. I think the Yankees do win 1. I don't think the Dodgers win in 4. I don't think it's tonight. They've got Clark Schmidt on the mound. I just don't trust him against this Dodgers lineup. Clark, exactly. It looked good against the Royals, but that's a different beast. This Dodgers lineup. That team is ridiculous with their lineup. When Tommy Edman is hitting home runs and Teoscar Hernandez, and then you've got the 3 MVPs at the top of the lineup, there's no one stopping them. The Yankees are a good team, but you can't stop 3 MVPs at the top of the lineup, especially when your MVP is not playing good baseball.
Boy, what was your thoughts on the tank from Freddie Freeman in Game 1 to wrap it up?
I mean, just chills. That's all I can say. Chills all down my body. That was unbelievable. You can't ask. Freddie said it perfectly in the post game. You're the kid in the backyard. You're playing it over in your head. You're announcing yourself hitting the grand slam to win the World Series. It's picture perfect. You can't write a better script than that. Don't agree with the decision from Aaron Boone to bring a guy that hasn't pitched in 2 months to face Shohei and
nasty Nestor Cortez.
Intentionally walk the guy who's 0 for 5 in his career against Nestor, just for Nestor to throw 2 fastballs down the middle. So I don't know.
Max thinks it'll be 3 for the Dodgers. I'll just be the opposite. Yankees win tonight. Yankees win. Yeah, Yankees win. See you tomorrow on the Blitz.
This is where classic